This innocent, undocumented father of two, who lived in the US for nearly 30 years, was deported back to Mexico by Trump. Or is there more to the story? Of course there is. Jorge Garcia was born in Mexico. At the age of 10 years old, he was brought illegally into the United States by his aunt. His parents had previously crossed the border. In 2002, he got married to Cindy Garcia, an American citizen. In 2005, Jorge hired an immigration lawyer to start the process to apply to become a US citizen. It only took 18 years to get to that point, but whatever. Anyway, the lawyer that Garcia hired allegedly messed up the paperwork, and instead of being put on the path to citizenship, he was put on the path to deportation.
The lawyer in 2005, we gave her money. She started the paperwork, and what had happened was she never did anything. And when she did, she put wrong wording on the application, so when we went to the judge says, this doesn't match. What's going on?
US Immigration and Customs Enforcement found that Garcia was an unlawfully present citizen of Mexico and was ordered removed by an immigration judge in 2006.
We tried to fix his status, and the system failed us.
No, your lawyer failed you, and a judge saw through your bullshit.
It's a broken immigration system.
You filed the wrong paperwork. How is that the system's fault? Pro tip, don't get your immigration advice from Supercuts. Jorge appealed the decision in 2008, but was told that he needed to voluntarily depart. This actually would have made it easier for him to come back into the US. But instead, Garcia failed to leave within the timeline of the agreement, so he became subject to a final order of removal in 2009.
We fought that in 2009. We got a stay of deportation.
ICE exercised prosecutorial discretion in his case in 2011, 2012, and 2014, and allowed him to remain in the United States.
2010, we filed for another one. 2011, Obama was still in office, so we were safe from 2011 until now.
In 2017, ICE finally told him that he needed to go back to Mexico, but allowed him to stay through the holidays, as long as he left by January 15th, which he finally did. It only took 12 years since he was first given the notice to voluntarily leave. 12 years. If ICE would have done its job in the first place, Jorge would have been sent back to Mexico in 2006. But why now? Did something change?
President Trump came into office. Suddenly, Garcia was told he had to go.
What exactly happened this year that caused the government to deport him? Because the administration has said this is about, quote, bad hombres, criminals who are a risk to our system, who are hurting people. What exactly happened?
Drug dealers.
What exactly happened to cause this to happen to Jorge now?
Because time had run out under the new administration, that Trump wants everybody who has to leave out of the country.
Even though they filed the wrong paperwork and he was told to leave back in 2006, this is all Trump's fault.
The Garcia family had been back and forth with immigration officials since the Obama administration. So although their concerns over deportation didn't start with the Trump presidency, the new administration's change in its approach to enforcement means those fears have now become reality.
The only thing that the Trump administration is doing differently from Obama is enforcing the law.
We knew that our nightmare was coming to life since 2005. We knew eventually he may have to leave, but we never wanted to face that fact.
It's so much easier to blame Trump than it is to face reality. Now, it's been said over and over again that Jorge Garcia is a tax-paying, law-abiding, non-criminal who hasn't even received a traffic ticket.
Jorge Garcia has no criminal record.
He's paid his taxes. He's an upstanding member of the community.
Just to be clear, Jorge does not have a criminal record. He has not committed a criminal offense in the United States.
A respected and hardworking taxpayer.
Jorge has no criminal record, not even a traffic ticket.
Jorge had no record, no past criminal offenses, not even a traffic ticket.
Jorge Garcia has no criminal record.
He doesn't even have traffic tickets.
He grew up on Seinfeld, not telenovelas, right?
You got a good point there, Chink. Wait, what? Okay, Seinfeld notwithstanding, let's break that down. He's a taxpayer. Jorge Garcia worked at KS Landscaping in Michigan, making $40,000 a year. An undocumented non-citizen with a deportation order probably isn't supposed to be working, but he was anyway. Don't you need a social security number to pay your taxes? Not at all. The Internal Revenue Service makes it easy for illegal aliens to pay taxes. All they need is an individual taxpayer identification number. ITIN numbers are issued by the IRS to individuals who do not have and are not eligible to obtain a valid US Social Security number, but who are required by law to file a US individual income tax return. The fuck? And what about his employer, KS Landscaping? A case could be made that they must have known about his situation and hired an illegal immigrant anyway. It's a little hyperbolic to say illegals took your job, but I'm pretty sure that there are plenty of US citizens who would love to make 40 grand a year, especially in an economically challenged area like Detroit. He never got as much as a speeding ticket. Now I know what you're thinking. How could he get a traffic ticket as an undocumented worker? He's not eligible for a driver's license in the state of Michigan. He can't drive. Well, you'd be wrong, because we find that his job at the landscaping company was plowing snow. The mainstream media doesn't care to investigate these points because it doesn't fit within the narrative of undocumented immigrants being personally attacked by Trump.
Yeah, that's not what this is meant to be about, right? The guy, Jorge, is not the poster child for what we have to fix with our immigration system.
That is not the United States of America. That is not the United States of America.
And I wonder if they like those images out there to frighten people.
Everyone who is not the same skin pigmentation as him is an immigrant from a shithole country, and so the cleanse continues.
Ali, you and I both respect the rule of law.
Absolutely.
What I don't understand is there are huge problems in this country. It was freezing in New York this weekend, in New England. There were kids who are homeless, who had nothing to eat. There are failing schools. There are millions of people
And there
dying.
are criminals out there, some of whom are undocumented in this country.
This is what we voted for. I want you to see it with your own eyes. And we're breaking up families. And look, I've heard from people, they're now hiding people in basements to make sure that ICE doesn't get them.
The opioid crisis is something that millions of Americans are worried about. Going after 21 7-Elevens and their working employees doesn't seem like a massive problem. Or ripping Jorge Garcia away from his family.
You know, when you think about the party of family values needs to step in and keep this family and others like it together and stop preaching lies about family values.
It's not that Trump made new laws against illegal immigrants. The existing laws were not being enforced. This story is just a pathetic excuse to try and attack President Trump, the Republicans, and anyone else who is against illegal immigration. And people always wonder why Trump is slamming the press.
I would take any panel of recent African or Mexican immigrants and put them in a room and give them a civics test against the President of the United States, and I know which side I'd be betting on in that battle.
Because he wants to keep out people who are not white.
Sounds good to a particular base, I suppose.
Jorge, what do you want the president to know? What is your message to him?
Well, that we're supposed to only deport people that are criminals, and that's not what's going on. They're only basically hurting the economy.
You hear that, Mr. President? You will hurt the economy if you kick out all of the illegal immigrants that are hurting the economy. For shame. And remember when Cindy Garcia said that the lawyer's paperwork and the Garcia's paperwork didn't match?
She never did anything. And when she did, she put wrong wording on the application. So when we went to the judge says this doesn't match.
The hilarious typos on Cindy's GoFundMe page leads me to believe that the lawyer might not have been the one messing up. Regardless, the Garcias still had a path to citizenship, but chose to ignore it. Neil Brand, a lawyer with extensive experience in immigration law, claims that this is what the Garcia should have done. Mr. Garcia was granted voluntary departure. He agreed to leave the United States within 60 days. At that point, he would have been back in Mexico with no deportation or removal on his record. Then his wife could have easily petitioned for him to come back to the United States. He would have needed a waiver, but it wouldn't have been overly complicated. Within a year, he would have been back as a lawful resident of this country. Garcia made an agreement to leave years ago and didn't follow his own agreement. He also stated that the Obama and Trump administration have both removed people under their watch just like this. I'll bet the media wouldn't give a damn about this case if Garcia was deported in 2014 And if you think Whoopi Goldberg is gonna remember these people in a week, you're sadly mistaken. The press is using them. After the news cycle resets, you're never gonna hear about this family ever again.
So what is the solution for other families going through this? I mean, Jorge has other siblings. I think some of them were born in the United States, but not all of them.
Oh, right. So not only are Jorge's undocumented parents still in the US, but they had additional children. Isn't that lovely?
It's a broken immigration system.
Tell me about it. Thanks for watching, and please like, share, and subscribe. And maybe check out one of these. I need all the help I can get.